All right, so what we're doing today is we're just reviewing some basic stuff from algebra with equations and getting into some fractions ones, which a lot of people I know do not like. So whenever you're doing anything with equations, the first thing you always want to do is you need to distribute. That's the first step. So to distribute, I'm going to distribute this 2 to the x and to the 3. And so what I get is I get 2x minus 6 plus 5 equals 18. And so now what's going to happen is I have to combine my like terms. So if you notice, if I highlight them, my like terms are my negative 6 and my positive 5. And so a negative 6 and a positive 5 is a negative 1. So this makes 2x minus 1 equals 18. And then we would solve from there, but I'm just trying to give a couple examples of what the first couple steps are for these problems. If you look over here at the second one on the right, you see a negative in front, but since there is a parentheses, I have to distribute that negative here. And really, some people like to think of it as a negative 1. So I have to do negative 1 times 5, which is negative 5, and negative 1 times negative 2x, which becomes positive 2x. And then everything else I didn't touch, so I'm going to bring down the 4x. And now if you notice on the left, same thing again, I'm going to highlight my like terms. This time my like terms are the 4x and the 2x. And 4x and 2x makes 6x, bring down the 5, equals 3x plus 6. So again, anytime you see parentheses, you want to distribute, and then you need to try and combine like terms when possible. And you can only combine like terms on the left of the equal sign or on the right. All right, after you combine like terms, the next thing you need to be able to do is move all your variables to the left or the right. I tend to be consistent and take everything to the left, so that way people that struggle with it can see what's going on. So again, I draw my line down, and I need to move this variable over here. And since this is a positive 8x, I'm going to subtract 8x on both sides. 8x minus 8x is gone. So that leaves me with a negative 8. Don't forget that negative. I kind of circled it, but it's still there. 4x minus 8x is a negative 4x. I didn't do anything with that 6, so I bring it down. So that's the step that we do to get the variables on the same side. Now, some people will always move the smaller variable, but then you get the same answer. It's just a little bit different until the end. So over here, I'm going to draw my line again. And again, I'm going to try and go get my 3x to this side. This time, since it's a negative 3x or a minus 3x, I'm going to add it. Remember, x's go with x's. I didn't mention that over here, but my 8x couldn't go with the 6. X's go with x's, numbers go with numbers. So I cross off that 3x because a negative 3x and a positive 3x. So now I have a 1x plus 3x, which gives me 4x. Didn't do anything with the negative 2, so I'm going to bring it down. Didn't touch the 4, so I'm going to bring it down. So the first step you always do is you're going to distribute and combine. Then you're going to move terms to the left. Last thing is we're going to do the inverse operation, which is just getting rid of things not multiplying first. So right here, I have to get rid of the 2 and I have to get rid of the 8. I'm going to get rid of what's not touching it first. And so what I'm going to do is to get rid of a minus 8, I'm going to add 8 to both sides. Remember, what you do to one side, you got to do the other. And so I have 2x is equal to 18. Now one thing, oh, it got ugly there. So that's 18. So one thing you have to remember is that a times sign doesn't show up, but it's right there. Right there. That says 2 times x. So to get rid of a times 2, I'm going to divide by 2. My screen keeps moving. Let's try that again. Divide by 2. And divide by 2. And so I get x is 9. I got new technology, so I'm struggling with it right now. All right, so let's same thing here. Now, I know a lot of you don't like fractions, but that's okay. Let's just take care of the number not with the x, because that's kind of attached to the x. Let's get rid of this plus 5. And so to get rid of a plus 5, I'm minus 5. And now what I do is I cross the 5's off, because 5 minus 5 is 0. So now I have x over 4 is 10. And to get rid of a divide by 4, I multiply by 4. I keep hitting the button on my mouse. And so what I have is I get x is 40. Because those 4's 4 over 4 crosses off. So again, our process is you're going to start off by distributing, combining. Then you're going to move the variables to the left. And then you're going to do the inverse operations of basic two-step equations. Now, unfortunately, a lot of times you're going to have fractions, and I know that you don't like fractions, but we have to be willing to work with fractions. Make my pen a little, it's not thick enough. All right, so here, if you notice, let's actually get a highlighter for this. This whole thing, this is on top. When the whole thing is on top, it's kind of stuck together and you have to keep it together. So I need to get rid of this divide by 5. So to get rid of a divide by 5, I'm going to multiply by 5. And so what I get left over is x plus 3 is equal to 40. And then you'd have a problem you know how to do. I do not distribute the 5 to the x and to the 3 because the goal was to get rid of the 5. So you just write it in front. Over here, there's a couple ways you could do it. You could move the 4 first, or you could just say, I really don't want a fraction and I want to get rid of this fraction. If that's the case, you multiply by 3, and you multiply by 3 here. But if you notice, the 4 didn't get a 3, so you need to put a 3 there. So this is all together in one problem, so that's why I only put 1 3 and it's gone. So I have 2x minus 4. 4 times 3 is 12, equals 21. And then you would combine your like terms and do your inverse operations. All right, the last couple hard problems we have, and these are more difficult fractions. If you notice I have a fraction here, divide by 4, I want to get rid of it. You could move the 3's and do all this stuff, but sometimes people just see a fraction and it starts to stress them out. So my suggestion is just get rid of it by multiplying by 4. And again, I have to multiply every single thing by 4. So the 4's here is cross off. Can't even missed it. So I get x plus 4 times 3 is 12. Another 4 times 3 is 12. And 2x times 4 is 8x. And so now we would solve by subtracting 7x. And so I get negative 6x plus 12 is 12. Minus 12. So negative 6x is 0. Divide by negative 6. So x is actually 0. So it's not that bad, but it's just the fractions that throw people off at the beginning. All right, for this next problem, you're going to see that there's two different fractions. There's a 2, and then there's a 3.
If Tyson Brooks is in the building, please come to the main office. Thank you.
Uh-oh, Tyson. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to do one at a time. I'm going to go ahead and take care of the 3 first. So I'm going to multiply by 3. And again, I do each thing by 3. So 3 times 5 is 15 plus 3x over 2. If you notice, the 2 stayed on the bottom. I'm multiplying the top by 3, not the bottom. And same thing over here. 1 times 3 is 3 over 2. And here, these 3's crossed off. So then I'm left with a plus 2x. Now let's see my other denominator I have. I still have my 2's. So now I need to get rid of my 2's. So let's change to a different color. So I'm going to multiply by 2. Now here, These are together that I was trying to get rid of them, so they're gone. So I'm left with 30 plus 3x equals, same thing here. I could do 3 times 2 and get 6, but then I'm just going to divide by 2 and get 3 again. So it's better just to cross it off and you get 3. Plus 2x times 2 is 4x. So now I'm going to combine my terms, or actually just minus stuff because I got to get my x's on the left. So I get 30 minus 1x is equal to 3, minus 30 on both sides, and I get negative x is negative 27. And so I just change the sign. So my answer is positive 27. So with fractions, don't get stressed out about it. Just get rid of it. And to get rid of it, you do the opposite, which is dividing. Okay, so the last thing we're going to talk about, and we're just going to talk about it over here on the right. It can go on the other side of your paper. Let's see where my mouse is. There it is. So we got 3 types of solutions. Okay, so the first type is just a solution. And with the solution, you're going to get, let's double underline that, make that look really important. You're going to get x equals some kind of number. Okay, it can be 0. You can get x is 0. That's okay. But for one solution problems, you have a variable. The next type you're going to have is a no solution. For a no solution problem, your variables disappear. Variables are gone. What happens is it's like a problem over here where we would minus 3x on both sides. Well, sometimes they'll cross off. So when your variables are gone and it's a no solution, it's a no solution because you get something like 5 equals 3. Well, 5 is never going to equal 3. So it's a no solution. And that's the symbol for no solution. The last type you have is infinite solutions. Sorry, it's messy. I'm having a hard time learning this software. And that's the same idea. Variables are gone, but this time it's true. So you get something like 5 equals 5. And 5 does equal 5, so that's an all reals, which is an all reals or infinite solution. So there's a lot of little things to remember about equations. Maybe you haven't done them in a while, but these are some basics that will help you get through it.